Hey y'all. I really like talking about fragrances that nobody ever really talks about that much in the fragrance community. And I like talking about fragrances that a lot of people do not know of. That's the reason I decided to talk about this today. Sexy Secret Pour Homme Eau de Toilette by Jean-Marc Paris, Canada. Um, Let me show you the presentation real quick. I'll take you for a little tour. Everybody knows in the fragrance community, I like really simplistic bottles, and this is very simplistic. Um, Clear so you can see the juice inside. The cap is hard plastic, but it fits extremely well and snug on the atomizer. The atomizer is actually pretty decent. Let me talk about the name real quick because I don't usually talk about the name of a fragrance or the presentation that much, but I hardly ever mention the name. I don't like this name. A lot of people, if you know what pour homme means for men. And Sexy Secret for men just doesn't jive with me. I don't know why it bothers me so much, but it does. I don't like it. Sexy Secret for men. when I when I put on a masculine fragrance marketed towards men, I want something that's going to sound manly, like I don't know, bulldozer or fire something. I don't want sexy secret for men. That just I don't know why that bothers me. It just does. As a matter of fact, when I first got this fragrance, I was getting ready to put it on and I kept staring at its name. I was like, I don't want to put on this fragrance because it has like sexy secret. It just makes me feel weird. I don't know why. I don't know why that bothers me, but it does. So I just wanted to complain about the name, I guess. But other than the name, everything's fine. I just hate the name. Let me give you a little information about this. This is a Eau de Toilette. Jean-Marc Paris classifies this as a Chypre Oriental. I don't. But it's their company and their fragrance, and they can call it whatever they want to. I don't consider this Oriental at all, but I do consider it Chypre to a certain extent. Um, my personal classification of a fragrance being a Chypre, there's three main things as far as I'm concerned about a fragrance being a Chypre. It's got to be citrus or citruses, resins, and tree mosses. Those are the three things that makes a fragrance a Chypre as far as I'm concerned. I know a lot of people might disagree with me about that, but that's what I classify as a Chypre, and I can see this being a Chypre, but not really Oriental at all. The top notes to this is lime zest, cinnamon, balsam. Heart notes, crushed praline, lavender, roasted sugar, tobacco, leather, and musk as the base notes. I wanted to read something that I found on their website that I guess they think describes this fragrance as part of their ad campaign for this fragrance, I guess. Um, this provocative masculine scent awakens the soul with extroverted fresh lime zest, balsam, and cinnamon. Aromatic, seductive lavender is topped with crushed praline. A viral accord of musk, leather, and tobacco leaves a heightened trail of masculinity. Okay. I love stuff like that. I think it's really corny that some executive of a company or a house thinks up stuff like this. They've got to know it's corny. I can't think of anybody that would write this and say, oh, this is serious. People are actually going to believe this. I think it's sort of a marketing thing, but I think it's corny, but I like stuff like that. I think it's fun and funny. I like those old like 70s and 80s commercials like the aftershave and cologne. commercials like Brute and Aftershave, where it's a commercial of this guy in his room and he has his shirt off, and there's a woman that walks in and they look at each other and they fall in love and they like jump at each other and jump in bed and start kissing and stuff, and then there's like a bottle of like Brute cologne like on the dresser in the background or something. I think stuff like that's funny. I do. I like stuff like that. Let me tell you what I get from this. um I get three main things from this, and it's basically, this is pretty linear, so it's basically the same from the very opening all the way to the end of the dry down. It changes just a little bit in the dry down, but it's basically, I get these three things. I get sweet, spicy, and citruses. Now, as far as citruses, the only citrus that they have listed in the note breakdown is lime zest. I think I sort of get that to a certain extent, but to me, I smell citruses. I smell more than one citrus. I get like maybe a lime, a lemon, maybe bergamot, something like that. So I get citruses. I also get spices, and it's not really warm spices. It's more of a ginger, pepper, and maybe like star anise, those kind of like spices. It seems like I get a lot of ginger from this. Um, I get a sweetness from, I think it is the lavender. So it's basically citruses, spices like ginger, and a sweetness coming from a sweet lavender. Those are the three things that I get. As far as like the cinnamon, crushed praline, roasted sugar, tobacco, and leather, I do not get any of that stuff. I might get a little bit of musk in the dry down, but all those other notes I don't get at all. I don't get crushed praline or roasted sugar, tobacco, or leather. I don't get any of that stuff. As a matter of fact, I was actually laying in bed with this last night preparing for this review, and it actually reminded, it doesn't smell like Dylan Blue. This does not smell like Dylan Blue. Um, but it has like a little bit of Dylan Blue in it. And I think it's probably the spices that might be doing that. I'm not really sure. But it seems like for a second, I think it actually is the citruses maybe and the spices that's in Dylan Blue that seems to be in here. So I actually, for just a few minutes, I was like, this smells a little bit like Dylan Blue. The only difference is the only negative thing that I have to say about this is a bit synthetic. But other than that, it's a decent scent. The quality is sort of, it's okay. There's a little bit of syntheticness. Um, this has a 80s, 90s vibe to me. 80s, 90s masculine cologne vibe, sort of like Dracar Noir or something like that. It has a 80s vibe in a way to me. It's a decent fragrance. I like it. And I don't get any of these other notes. And when I first started doing fragrance reviews, I think when I first started, I read off like a list of notes that the fragrance that I was reviewing was supposed to have. And I think I actually made myself believe that I was smelling things that I actually really didn't smell. And it's not that I was lying or anything. It's just like subconsciously, I think I made myself believe that I was smelling things that I didn't. I really grew out of that pretty quickly because I want my reviews to be as honest as I can. That's the reason I'm not saying that I smell cinnamon, praline, sugar, tobacco, leather, anything like that, because I do not smell them. And if I do not smell something, then I'm not going to say that I smell it. So those are the three things that I smell in this fragrance: is the sweet lavender, spices, and citruses, and that's basically all I get. In the dry down, the citruses is basically pretty much gone. but I still get the like a sweet lavender and spices, so it's actually fairly pretty linear. Um, I like it. It is a bit synthetic. The quality isn't really high or anything, but it's a decent fragrance. Would I recommend it? It depends. If you don't have any problem with a fragrance being a little bit synthetic and having a little 80s vibe to it and the quality not being really good, then I think you probably will like this, especially if you like the 80s masculine fragrances and the 90s masculine fragrances. If you do not like synthetic at all, if you like a really natural fragrance, a realistic fragrance, a very organic fragrance that develops well, you probably won't like this because it doesn't develop well and it is a bit synthetic. Um, I looked on the website last night and I'll put a link in the description to where you can get this if you decide you want to try it, which I think the price isn't too bad. This is a 50 mil, and I think the 50 mil is going for like 19.95 or something. That's not too bad. That's equivalent to um, like $40 for 100 mil. That's not too bad. You know, I take it back. I really don't recommend this unless you just want to try it. Because there is other fragrances out there that's the same price or better. You can spend $20 more and get like Dylan Blue, which is similar to a certain extent to this, but the quality is way higher, a lot better fragrance. There's a lot of other fragrances that smell very similar to this, that's the same price or cheaper, that's better quality. So I like it. I'm glad I have it, but I wouldn't buy it again personally myself because there's other things out there that's better. I don't really recommend it because of that, but you know, it's 20 bucks for a 50 mil. It's a decent fragrance. It's a good fragrance to wear if you don't want to think about what to wear. If you just want to smell good, this is a good, like, I don't care what I wear. I just want to smell good, so I'll put it on. It's one of those fragrances. So I'll put a link in the description if you're interested. And that is it for my review of Sexy Secret Pour Homme. Ooh, Sexy Secret. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.